On the surface, this just looks like another trade deal. But this new agreement between the US and Bangladesh, whoa, it is making some serious waves in India. It's sparking a huge debate and raising some really tough questions about who holds the power in the region. So, what is really going on here? Why all the fuss? Well, let's unpack this whole thing because a deal that seems to be about t-shirts and textiles is actually a much, much bigger game of geopolitical chess. All right, let's start with the headline news. The part of this deal that sent absolute shockwaves through India's textile industry. I mean, we're talking about a sector that's a huge pillar of their economy, employing millions of people. And here it is, the core of the problem. Bangladesh gets to send some of its textiles to the US with zero tariffs. Zero. Meanwhile, India is still stuck paying a hefty 18% tax on theirs. That is a massive price advantage for Bangladesh, and it could totally upend the competition. Now, to really get why this is such a big deal, we need to zoom out a bit. You have to understand the intense rivalry that's been going on for years between India and Bangladesh in the global textile market. This isn't new. This is a major economic battle. And here's something that might surprise you. For years, India, this massive global powerhouse, has actually been struggling to keep up with its much smaller neighbor, Bangladesh, when it comes to textile exports. This deal, it could make that gap even wider. And this is why it's so critical. The two biggest markets, the places everyone wants to sell their stuff, are the US and the EU. This deal hands Bangladesh a huge leg up in one of those key battlegrounds, and it really puts India in a tough spot. Okay, now we get to the fine print. And trust me, this is where it gets really, really interesting. This isn't just some simple trade-off. It is a brilliant strategic move. So you see the huge difference, right? 18% versus 0%. But look closely. See that word there? Conditional? That one little word changes the entire game. And yep, there is always a catch. The US isn't just doing this out of the goodness of its heart. It's smartly using the long-standing and sometimes tense relationship between India and Bangladesh to its own advantage. Here it is, the masterstroke. That zero tariff deal, it only applies if the clothes are made from, you guessed it, American cotton. The US knew Bangladesh was looking for cotton sources besides India, so they created the perfect win-win for themselves. Let's put some numbers to this so you can see the real-world impact. In the textile business, margins are razor-thin. So an 18% price difference, that's not just a small advantage. That is a potential knockout blow for Indian manufacturers. And you better believe the financial markets noticed. Instantly, the stock prices of India's major textile companies took a nosedive. That's a crystal clear signal that investors see this deal as a very serious threat. So, on the one hand, Bangladesh scored this huge victory for its most important industry. But it came at a price, a really big price. Let's take a look at what they had to give up to get this deal done. And the list of concessions is pretty staggering. They agreed to things India has been fighting against for years, like the free flow of data across borders. But on top of that, they committed to buying billions of dollars in American farm and energy products and basically threw open their markets to US companies. So think about that. To get a special advantage for one key industry, Bangladesh basically gave the US preferential access across its entire economy. This is way, way bigger than just a simple trade deal. Okay, so let's recap. India is now at a disadvantage, and Bangladesh had to make some massive concessions. So that begs the question, who is the real winner in all of this? Well, you don't even have to look that hard. The answer is hidden in plain sight, right there in the official text of the agreement. It says flat out that the benefits for Bangladesh are tied directly to how much US cotton they buy. Yeah, no question about it, the United States came out on top here. They played the rivalry between India and Bangladesh absolutely perfectly. They cooked up a deal that guarantees sales for their farmers, opens a whole new market for their companies, and gets them strategic wins that they could never get from India. Honestly, this whole situation is a masterclass in modern geopolitics. It just goes to show you, when two neighbors are so focused on competing with each other, there's very often a third party just waiting on the sidelines, ready to collect all the winnings. It's a powerful reminder that in global trade, the real game is almost always bigger than it looks.